Hello, everyone. This is Stacy Maracas, aka Stacy Lee in real life. I'm coming to you from my living room right here in Second Life, and I am sitting here with an awesome, amazing special guest, Miss Anya Ibor, and in real life, she is Dr. Colleen Crary. We are bringing you her amazing holiday stress busters. We have it as a note card available in the Landmark Giver on The Sims. She runs Fearless Nation and the PTSD Library for 14 years now in Second Life. And for those of you that may not know me, I am co-president of the Echo Group Band of Brothers organization, and I am chapter president of the Echo Group Band of Brothers in Second Life and also in the state of Arizona. We are veteran-centric. Anya is everyone-centric. She is a specialist when it comes to PTSD, and I'm going to hand the reins over to her, and we're just going to give you just awesome conversation about how to get rid of PTSD-related stress during the holidays. So, Anya, thank you for being here at Echo Group, and as always, you always come through for us, and she's also our PTSD commissioner on our leadership team. So, ma'am,
Yay.
the floor is yours. Yes, yay.
Thank you very much, Stacy, and it is an honor to be part of EchoVets. And having founded Fearless Nation, I've just learned so much from the last 14 years. But anyway, let's talk about the holidays, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Dare we? The holidays can be a little tough for those of us who have PTSD. I think they're stressy for everyone in one way or another. But we want to take back the holidays. So let's get into it. Let's let's gain a little perspective here first. Over the last 20 or 30 years, and I don't mean to age myself here, but the holidays have changed. Yeah, back then, I remember I don't, as a quiet time, it was time off. There was limited gifting. You gave a couple of gifts or one gift, and it meant a lot. It had a lot of meaning
Yeah.
behind it. So limited gifting. The stores were closed. They were not open, sometimes for the entire holiday weekend. The only things that were open were church and maybe a gas station or two. Okay.
Right. Get that grocery
Like I said,
shopping done or else because you're out of
yes.
luck. Yeah.
You get gas station bacon to put on the turkey. Um, there was very little traffic. It was about family and friends, for better or for worse, and homecomings. People coming home from college, or maybe they live in another state. We're much more living apart now in different states and places. Now it seems like there's 24/7 media chatter. Um, we work on the holidays. I've worked Christmas. I've worked Thanksgiving. I
Yeah.
sometimes people will say, I can get more done because there's nobody around. However, working on the holidays, it's tough. Um, Expectations are so much higher now. We just I think we're surrounded by all the social media and television and stuff like that, and it portrays the holidays as this very almost um, uh, hyper perfect kind of idealized sort of thing. So we have those expectations. Stores are, like I said, the stores are open. Traffic jams and crowds. I mean, gosh, Black Friday, forget it. We tend to overschedule ourselves, like say we're going to do the greatest, most traditional, holiday feast or barbecue. And then there's the distance, air travel and everything else, planes, trains, and automobiles. It can be a real pain. So let's address some of these things because it can be a little more stressy on people with PTSD. So let's talk about taking back control with the holidays.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, use your freedom of choice. And by that, I mean set boundaries, set reasonable expectations for yourself. If you feel yourself getting into the stressy zone, into the anxiety or panic zone, take a step back as if you were another person and look at yourself and say, oh, no, 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 this can go. And, we can scratch that off the list and scratch that off the list, etc. Again, think about quality over quantity of holiday events and gifts. Um, have reasonable self expectations. Again, that freedom of choice and limiting all that input, where it's almost like a tsunami that covers it. Um, you can say no to certain holiday things, and mean it, and don't feel guilty about it afterwards. Um, there are exercises and strategies to maintain your equilibrium. I mean, Stacy, you had a perfectly good one. Can you go through that where you breathe in twice?
Yeah, I had actually learned two deep breaths, one on top of each other without exhaling. So it's and then a deep exhale. And it just calms your heart, but it's two quick, deep breaths, one after the other, where you're like filling your lungs, and it really is amazing. You can feel it right away. It's immediate.
I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Excellent, excellent. So, it's not the holidays. Well, it's not the big holidays. And let me just take a step back for a second. This isn't just for, Christmas, Hanukkah, so on, Ramadan, whatever. This is for any holiday or family reunion. And I want to bring up funerals, wakes, and weddings, because sometimes there can be a lot of drama involved with those, um, you know, with our families. And we'll get more into that later. So this is all holidays, all events where there is a social gathering, office parties included too.
Yes.
So yeah, make it look at what you want to get into. Either it's going to be a reasonable, or you don't participate. Now, Stacy, I know you and I have talked about, especially with people who have post-trauma, uh, self-isolating. Now, we're not talking about that. There's a difference between saying, I'm not going to participate because there's some
Oh,
toxic people
absolutely.
involved, and a difference between just staying at home and maybe engaging in drinking, or just hiding away from the world. Two
Right.
different things.
It's a good question to ask yourself. Am I really just trying to avoid somebody that makes me crazy, or somebody to avoid negativity? Or am I just looking
Hmm.
for an excuse to stay home and isolate? So you be real with yourself.
Right. And just think it over. Just, you don't stress yourself out over it, but think about it. Because especially in some family situations or social situations, I have heard over the years many, many, many stories about, we had a family reunion and my abuser was there. There was an office party and the office bully was there who was bullying me to death. Um, and you don't want to be where your abuser is. And sometimes in families, I'm not slamming families or anything. They're great to have if everybody gets along. But sometimes when there's an abusive situation, the family will be divided and some people will take the abuser's side.
Right.
And you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Have put together something with your friends, or if you do feel like just some time for self-reflection and healing and feeling good about yourself, get some great movies, put in some nice foods, spoil yourself a little bit, and stay home. So if it's reasonable, it's got to be reasonable, or you don't participate. And we're going to talk about, we just talked about some breathing exercise, and we'll get to pocket cards later. Um, some of the top holiday stressors, zooming, let's zoom back the camera a little bit. Um, Global. I hear every year, and I don't know about you, Stacy, if you catch on to this message we get from the media, it's like it's the consumer's responsibility to prop up the economy and spend money,
Yeah.
and that we might not have. And then, January comes along and then bills come in And it's like, oh my goodness. Well, no, it's not our job to prop up the economy. And I really hate that chastising we sort of get, uh, when the holidays are happening. The media chatter overload. Maybe put down the blue screen, the phone, the computer, whatever, put it down. Give yourself some time off to be with yourself and be one with yourself and not with your head over in the screen.
For
Um,
sure.
because there's, yeah, the constant advertising, the infotainment news, product placement. It's advertising cloaked as news. Um, Again, let's talk about the expectations of others, family, parents, children, friends, bosses, and coworkers, to either work or show up for that party or gathering. If your abuser is there and members of that group have taken sides with that abuser, don't put yourself in that situation. You're re-traumatizing yourself. Let's not do that. Find something else to do, and we've got some suggestions coming up. Um, so think about your own expectations of yourself, and we've sort of touched on that. Unreasonable to-do lists. Sometimes I've caught myself during the holidays. I don't know if you have, Stacy, making to-do lists that are for 3 days worth of to-do.
Yeah, yes.
Instead of, you know,
And you actually
and
have to get them all done too.
yes, and sometimes we can pull it off, but be kind to yourself. This is a stressful time. Overscheduling craft projects and overextending yourself, like trying to be at three places at once. I mean, I know people that travel all over a region where their family is, and like in one day on Christmas Day, and it's like all the drunks out, the roads. I mean, the weather can be crappy in certain parts of the world, so that can be bad. Now let's talk about what we're eating. Sugar, fat, alcohol, and drugs. Don't the holidays seem to be a time when the weird food comes out, not necessarily things we eat every day. Am I right, Stace?
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So I mean, I don't make gravy. I don't put gravy on my food every day, but all this stuff comes out, and it can kind of get you going. And of course, there's all the delectable snacks and treats and things like that. Um, so just keep your eye on that, because it can kind of get your body chemistry out of balance. Now, I do want to have a word with vegetarians, vegans, and the special diet folks. Bring your own. If I invite you to my house and you have special, food needs, even if it's, especially if it's for a medical reason, just bring your own and don't make a big deal about it. And we don't need a lecture on why your food style, lifestyle is better for us or whatever. Just bring your own and just be polite and quiet. And that goes for me too, because I always bring veggies and dip. I'm not one thing or the other. I'm an omnivore. However, um,
I eat
I
everything
don't,
except
yeah,
fish.
see, I'm more of like a vegetarian plus pescatarian, but that's a whole nother. We'll do that presentation another day about food. Anyway, manage stress so you don't drink too much. I mean, come on, PTSD folks. You know very well that it's the booze is out during the holidays, and it's we get anxious, we get nervous, we get a little uh, panicky, and it's just all too easy to have that second, third, fourth glass. I'm not going to whitewash this. I'm not going to make it, sound nice. You know it's true. So use some of the exercises that we talk about and the note cards and things. Weed and drugs. If you're upset, tense, or stressed over the holidays, sometimes if you do weed, and it's not legal everywhere, so don't put yourself in a situation where you might get pulled over or somebody gets busted or family disapproves or whatever. Don't get yourself in trouble, okay? But just let me say that if you're in a panicky place and you do weed or other drugs, it will intensify it, you know, cocaine, meth, and stay away
Absolutely,
from
it will.
Oh my goodness. But and please stay away from the narcotics, the heavy stuff, because fentanyl is out there, and we don't want any holiday, you know, deaths. Um, so we've talked about, some of the other stressors. This is my little, it's a little tiny nutcracker because the big ones frighten me. They're like in the same category as clowns and stuff like that. And he's screaming. Um, but we talked about traffic, the long lines in the stores and crowds, the icy weather in a lot of places in America. It is flu season. Um, Deadlines or end of year stuff coming at you from work.
Just the piling on of
Holidays.
stuff. Yeah.
It absolutely is, Stacy. And I think more importantly, the memories we have when maybe we were kids or we were younger, or other times when we had memories with friends that and family that perhaps had passed on. And it's a time, it really is a memory time, where we have a lot of things rise to the surface memory wise, and it can make us sad, and then we've got to battle depression. So these are all things kind of that are, if we have strong boundaries, let's keep them outside of the walls. And let's get into more of how we can get into this. So let's talk about how you feel about yourself. We talked about unreasonable to-do lists, and you know delegate if you can. um, the overscheduling, the holiday projects. I got to talk to you about holiday projects because I'm the worst offender of the last minute holiday project thing. Let me just say that if you haven't started your holiday, DIY gifts or decorations by August, set them aside for next year. Find some alternatives. And we had talked about, I know Stacy and I had talked about the dollar store. You'd be amazed what's at the dollar store for
Absolutely.
decorations and little gifts. So you're not with the franticness. Um, the expectations by others we talked about. Turn it off, tune it out. It's okay to to turn off your phone every now and then. Um, just don't get caught up in the bright shiny objects that surround us, whether it's 4th of July or it's you know the winter holidays. Doesn't matter. Let's not get caught up in it. So we had already talked about what are the expectations that others have of us. um, I don't participate in Black Friday and other wacky sales events. They're made up by corporations, and the savings aren't really that great if you really think about it. You'll know when you get the bills, the credit card bills in January. And it's not psychologically healthy to be, you know, fighting someone over a dang scarf or something. Um, so saying no and meaning it. I don't want people to isolate, as we talked about, but say no to travel. If you would rather have your own, if you have your own family and little kids and stuff like that, then no, I can't come to, St. Louis or, Vermont or whatever. I can't do it. I want to have a nice family. You know, when you have children, it's not about you anymore, and it's not about your parents or your family's expectations of you anymore. It's about you and your children and making beautiful memories together. Um, Pick another time for a family get together. Um, a lot of times, the holidays can bring out, um, because there's been estrangement and tensions and grudges and old grievances. Don't get wrapped up in those. Now, when I talk about to people about their children, manage their gifting expectations and be honest with them. If it's been a tough year financially, and I think we've all kind of been going through that, to more or less.
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
everybody feels it.
yeah. People want children want the Xbox and this and the Barbie dream house and all that other stuff.
And we
And
want to give it to them.
yeah,
Most of the time, we want to
absolutely
give it
want
to them,
that.
but we have to be
Absolutely
realistic.
want that. Absolutely, Stacy. And I, you know, I, uh, I don't know how you deal with it with when when your children were younger, or even now. But just be honest. I'm going to give you one gift that really means something to you, and you decide what it is. Don't let them call the shots. If anything, write a check. You know. I mean, I'm of the age where I just say, "Mom, write a check. Don't send me something." And not for anything, but shipping things is really expensive now. I don't know if you've noticed.
Oh, gift
Um,
cards are a beautiful thing.
oh, they are, and they fit right in that greeting card.
Hmm.
Um, Now, with social groups and managing expectations, that can be tough. A lot of time, they can be a blessing, or they can be an anxiety producing thing, as much as a family. Sometimes our friends, we almost feel closer to some of our best friends than we do family. And there's always, in every group, there's always a few people that have to trod the boards and take the spotlight, and hold grudges and things like that. Um, we talked about the required holiday parties. You know what? Tell them, I feel like I'm getting the flu. I feel like I'm coming down with something. And, I'm not endorsing lying, but a white lie,
When it's
if it's,
protecting you.
there
Yeah,
you go. Stacy, you nailed it.
yeah,
Absolutely. If it's between them and how you're going to feel for the next 24, 48, 2 weeks, um,
right.
tell a little white lie. I'm not feeling quite right. I think I need to go home. My nose is stuffy, whatever. Um, and if you can't take vacation, like you work in a restaurant or retail job, or I know for a couple of holidays, I worked suicide hotlines, things like that. Um, Plan a few days off, after that holiday passes, and just tell yourself it's a mental health day, and it is, because mental health is the same as health. So
Yep,
don't
sure
discount
is.
that. Absolutely. And let's talk about some alternatives. Just in case you are estranged from your family, or you can't get to them because of travel or the expense of travel. Um, let's talk about some alternatives. I'll tell you one thing that's very rewarding: volunteering. Now, I'd mentioned working at Suicide Hotline a couple of holidays, and my husband and I work soup kitchens and homeless shelters. I've worked, like, I even dressed up as Santa once, a skinny Santa, and worked with children who were mentally challenged. And we had a grand old time on Christmas Day. It was like an orphanage sort of situation, or foster home sort of situation. But homeless shelters, soup kitchens, churches, temples, synagogues, and animal rescues. Companion animals are wonderful. And animal rescues, and the pounds, they used to call them, they need helpers during the holidays. And you can also, as part of one of these programs, look into taking your cat or your dog, if reasonable, if you've got well behaved pets, to, say, a managed care facility. Um, they used to call them nursing homes, but they're called managed care facilities. A lot of older people are alone during the holidays. And Stacy, I think you'll agree with me that you come back from these experiences during the holidays where it's not about you anymore. You made it about somebody else. And it's almost like you got the best gift in the world. Um,
Oh, for sure.
I mean, talk about, why don't you share some of what you were telling me about some of the veterans that are alone during the holidays that might be um, in the VA or what have you?
What we do, the real life Echo Group, Banner Brothers, is we will go to the, I still say convalescent home. That's, elderly people's homes, but there's a
Mhm.
lot of veterans there that their families may be far away. They just get a phone call, but they're lonely. And if you go into any of those places, unless they have a family that lives really close to them and they come all the time, most of the elderly people that live there are very lonely. And you've got veterans in there. There's a lot of veterans, especially when you live in a place like I do, Lake Havasu, where there's a lot of veterans in one small location. That means there's a lot of veterans that are alone on the holidays. And what we do is we'll take a group of us. It's part of our volunteer work, our service work that we do, giving back to our communities. And we'll go in there and we'll find that old Vietnam vet, or, God love them. There's very few left, but our World War II veterans. And we sit
The
and we
greatest
talk with them,
generation.
the greatest generation. And we sit and we talk with them. We listen to their stories, and they love to tell them,
Yes.
but we speak their language as veterans. And so it's that much more warming to their soul, that like, wow, this is a young soldier that really wants to hear what I have to say and get my
Hmm.
advice. And it's even better. But anybody can do that. It's just something that we do with Echo Group.
Right. And any type of managed care facility. Um, I've even gone to women's shelters where they have their children with them.
Hmm.
They've escaped some, tough times. And let's circling back to the dollar store, you know, first of all, before we get to the dollar store, first of all, being nice is free. What is free these days? Not
Absolutely.
much, not much. A smile is free. And it's a human it's absolutely behavioral human. If somebody smiles at you, you just naturally smile back and you get a little burst of endorphins in your brain.
Yes.
And so you're going, you're smiling at people, holding their hand maybe, or giving them a nice handshake. Um, and go to the dollar store. I think there's some cool stuff at the dollar store. I've been blown away the last couple of years because, times have been tough. And even if it's just a little nothing, a pair of mittens or a, a, a scarf, it could be anything. Maybe something you got from the store, like a little craft kit that they could work on or something. You take these to these places, and you can get a big roll of wrapping paper for $1 at the dollar store, and put a ribbon on it, and it makes their whole holiday. Um, when they're alone and isolated, and they feel like they've been left behind. Um,
Yes.
and you know what? Like I said, smiles and being nice and kind is free, or maybe just a thing or two from the dollar store. And it's the best bargain you'll ever get, because you will remember that holiday more than you'll remember, the parties at the bar and doing shots and you know, the
Correct.
family angst, that sort of thing. Not to go on, but think about those around you. If you have a social circle, or even your neighbors, gather those that who are alone for the holidays for the same reasons that we've talked about: the expensive travel, they can't travel, family can't travel to them. Um, have a potluck. Does it have to be ham or turkey? I mean, no. Just have a potluck or some other cheerful feast. Barbecue. People make a potato salad, bring it over, what have you. You put some hot dogs in. It's not about the bells and whistles of the holiday. It's about getting together with people and spreading good cheer. Spreading good
Yes.
cheer is free. Another free thing. So we're rich in free things.
Togetherness.
Yes, and we just don't realize it. Just breaking bread with people is a lovely way to
Hmm.
spend the holidays. So, and again, if you don't feel like you want to uh, be with others in the holidays, and you're certain that you're not self-isolating with depression or grief or anything like that, just take the holiday for yourself. Say, I think I'm coming down with a cold, little white lie,
Right.
and do what you like, anything you like. So enjoy the holidays again. Let's get back to it, people. It's okay to spend them alone, like I said, to rest, relax, watch junk television, eat a bag of chips. I don't care. And give yourself permission to pick and choose your activities and list items. Again, let's let go of unreasonable expectations that we expect of ourselves, as well as others expect of us. And we shouldn't expect too much from others as well. Um, get out of town. Uh, I went to England one year during Christmas, and it was great. Um, be strong, be confident, don't be manipulated by the holiday industry or family or friends, but most of all, enjoy the holidays your way. Stacy, is there anything that you'd like to add? Because
Oh no, I think
I'm
that
sure
this
there's a
is.
hundred things I've missed.
No, you didn't. You're as always thorough. I'll just kind of touch base on going back to being able to afford things and that stress that goes along with it. And I think I
Mm,
have told you this little story before, but something and the most warmest thing, and my children were just like everybody else's children. I want a PlayStation, I want this, I want that. And that was just something that I could not provide for them at that time as a
mm-hmm,
single mom. And so I decided to kind of turn the tables. And one year, I believe they were 11, 8 and or excuse me 11, 7 and 6 years old, and I taught them about what Christmas is truly about.
mm-hmm,
And we didn't have anything. And I was very honest with my children and told them, I cannot give you Christmas. I just can't do it. But what we're going
mm-hmm,
to do is we're going to give somebody else a Christmas. And they just looked at me like I was crazy. But what we did is we were talking about the dollar store. We went to the dollar store. We got the little cheapy stockings. We made crafts. We got some of the
mm-hmm.
kids' toys. And we had a neighbor that lived next door to us, and we know that they had a lot less than we did. They had 4 or 3 children. The mom and dad worked themselves to the bone, and we knew that they went to church every Tuesday night for 2 hours. So we were waiting, and we baked all day, and we just spent the
Mm.
little that we had, and I was teaching the kids something. And so that night, as soon as they left the church to go to church, we decorated their front door, and we had all these baked goods for them and the little stockings for the kids, and we made them a card, and of course we left it all anonymous. We told them God bless you, and all they that were Christian. So if that bothers you, sorry, but I'm a Christian, and we said God bless you, and we hope that you have a
Yes.
wonderful holiday, and just know that you're thought of. My kids drew pictures all over the cards, just made it cool. And then of course, about the time that they were supposed to come home, here's my kids looking out the front window, peeking through, and they were so excited to see that. And they really understood at that point. And to this day, my children are 30, 27, and 26. And
Uh-huh.
to this day, that was something that was so huge to them that they remembered. They don't remember not getting anything for Christmas. I'm sure they do. I'm realistic, but what they
Aw.
remember most about that Christmas is that they could hear those kids, Mommy, look, Mommy, Santa came. And the
Mm-hmm.
happiness in the children's voices, that they were so excited. My kids were dancing around. Did you hear her? She was so excited, And to this day, they adopt a family that they know that has less than them at the holidays, and they will go out and do that every year. And it was just an idea that I had as a single mom that was like, okay, now what? And it
Yeah.
worked, and it's something that became a tradition with them. So there's ways to think out of the box and be creative. And trust me,
And it's
if it's
catchy.
hard
It's
because you
the
want
good
to
kind
give
of
those kids
catchy.
everything. Yeah, and it is. But we want to give our children everything. But you would be amazed at how your kids are so resilient, and
Mhm.
can be taught something different that will just rock their world and change their way of thinking.
And
So,
that lasts longer than any material item.
oh,
Any material
absolutely.
item. Um, Before we wrap this up, I did talk about um, preparing yourself. we wanted to get this out early. And
Yes.
what is that beeping? Oh, sorry. Do you hear that?
No.
I'm sorry. We can edit this out. I don't know why it was beeping. Anyway, so before we wrap this up, um, there's a couple of couple of little grocery list items. Communicate in advance, before you maybe go to a family thing and say, I'm not gonna. I don't. There's certain subjects I don't want to talk about, especially people with PTSD. Now there will be those family members that want to lean into it, and there will be people in your family or amongst your friends that say, "I don't believe PTSD is a real thing. I think that's just people are being over dramatic." You know what? Don't get upset. No need to do a New Jersey a table flip over it. Just yeah, lived in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Seen a few. Um, but whether it's a wake or a wedding or whatever, when people lean into you about, oh, that PTSD, that's just so silly, just very calmly put your hands up and just say, I would really rather not discuss this. And if they pursue it, just get up and walk away. And in preparing before you go to these events, it might be helpful to have a little grocery list of the breathing exercises, as Stacy uh, uh, gave us, and also you can get apps for your phone. Yeah, I mean, if
PTSD
you have your
coach.
phone,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's one I always tout. You
that's a
can
good
go
one.
to any app stores. It's called PTSD Coach, and it has been amazing. It's an amazing tool, and it can really help. I mean, go outside and, you don't have to, if you don't smoke, I do. Go outside. I'm going to go smoke, like you were saying, and
Yeah.
listen to a piece of your app because it's on there specifically. There's stuff on there for high anxiety. There's stuff on there for anger. There's stuff like I want to punch my little sister in the face. There's stuff literally for everything to help you
Just
just
some
calm. But
music.
people are entitled to their opinions, and you can let them know
Yeah,
you're entitled to your opinion, but
I'm
I'm
not
going
going to
to take a
participate.
walk because I'm not going to engage you with this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Right.
sticking up for yourself. They don't have to
Absolutely.
understand you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if and you can win over those get-togethers and those holidays. Listen, everybody finds a little quiet place to sneak away and say have a
Yeah.
cigarette or what have you. Stake out your claim on a little place, even if it's on the porch. Just put on your coat and just say, I want to step outside for a minute, need some fresh air. And other apps for the phone. It could be music, it could be certain sounds like the ocean, but no seagulls. They upset me. Um, and things like that. They
Don't get
do.
the
They're just
seagulls that
fluffy.
upsets Anya. So now
Yes, don't
remember
get the
that tomorrow.
seagulls.
You're gonna
But
remember that too. The next time you open it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I can't do seagulls. That lady in Second Life doesn't like them."
yeah, and if you get the YouTube app, you can make yourself ahead of time a little relaxation list. I mean, just look at YouTube. There's like a million little relaxation
Just
exercises
find
for
what
your
works for
mind.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, and
whatever
just make
works for
yourself a
you.
little playlist. And yeah, absolutely. And also just a grocery list of maybe little phrases that help you, little sayings. It doesn't matter. These aren't pithy things. These are things that will get you through um, some sort of event or holiday, uh, wake, wedding, whatever it is,
Hmm.
barbecue, without friction and, kind of amplifying the noise and the tension and friction and stress. Excuse me.
I think what's good is for everybody to just sit and think before everything gets started.
Mm,
Just in your
mm-hmm.
quiet moment, just saying that what is important to me about this holiday
Right.
that's coming up. What is my best memories of this holiday? What is important about this to me? Is it family? Is it the gifts? Whatever. Then concentrate on that. When you're wherever you're at, just be like, this is what's important to me. This is what I'm going to concentrate on, and the rest of it's fluff. Don't let it get to you. Be
Absolutely.
be real with yourself. Absolutely, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Just plan. And also, when you're thinking about it, go ahead and go to the worst case scenario. Stay calm and just say, how am I going to handle it?
Yeah, have a
Am I going
plan
to
B.
remove myself from
Hmm.
that situation? Am I going to take a little break? Am I going to say am I going to put up those some boundaries, some reasonable, healthy boundaries and say, I'm not going to discuss this with you. I don't have to justify myself or why I have PTSD or anxiety or whatever. You know, you believe what you believe and I believe what I believe and just walk away or don't even say anything at all. Just say, excuse me, please. Um, so um, well, that's it. These things may sound a little simple, but I do
They
believe
are.
that they will help people get through the holidays, huh?
Well, they are simple, and that's what we're talking about. Keep it simple. Keep it simple for you. Don't worry about what everybody else is judging or thinking about you. Especially for a veteran, you've been through probably in a half a day more than, what is it they say about us in the Army? We do more by lunchtime than most people do in a week.
We do.
We can handle it. You can handle it, and it can get overwhelming. But like we said, just be real with yourself, be honest with yourself, and say, you know what, this doesn't work for me. I'm gonna go chill, or I'm not gonna go at all. Whatever works for you,
Mm-hmm.
and reach out
Mm-hmm.
to somebody. Call your battle. Call your battle,
Mm-hmm.
call somebody that's got your six, that understands your language, that understands you. People can call me any time of the day or night. I'm your sister. I can help you. We can walk it through together. But I'll be that chick that'll be like, oh, fuck them. And yes, I said a cuss word on YouTube, but I'm
That's all
serious.
right.
That's what you sometimes might need to hear to bring light to your situation, whatever it takes to bring you out of that dark space. That's what we do for each other. And Anya, thank you
Yeah.
so much for this, and I hope that everybody
Mm-hmm.
enjoys this. Leave us some comments about what you thought.
Please,
If there's
please.
other things you'd like us to do, other talks we'd like to give. I know we're going to do a suicide awareness class, and we're going to put
Mm-hmm.
it here on YouTube. So subscribe to us. And, in real life, we do this just like we do here in Second Life. Second Life is
Mm-hmm.
free. Come join us in Second Life. We're pretty easy to find. The Fearless Nation Sim or Echo
Mm-hmm.
Groups, Echo Group Band of Brothers. We're not hard to find. We're the only Echo Group Band of Brothers Sim in Second Life. Fearless Nation is the only Fearless Nation named Sim in Second Life. Message us on or leave us a comment. How do I do this? How do I check this out? We'll help you. That's what we do.
Yeah. We'll
And
put the
have a wonderful
URLs
holiday.
underneath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Have a
have a
terrific
wonderful
holiday.
holiday for you and for your family and what matters to you.
And God bless you.
Right back at you. And God bless all of you as well.
Thank you,
Have a good
Stacy.
day. Bye bye,
All
guys.
right.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye.